Big country the Hebrew. Praise the most. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual blame that only scripture to hear. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual blame that only scripture to hear. If you're a Negro, that means that you're a hero. The chosen seed of Israel, that means no equal to you. But if you're a Hamite, peekaboo, we see you. You sold us to our oppressors on a one-way ticket to Egypt. Them heathens shipped my people away on government-funded slave ships. The evil that we had to endure. Talk back to my say you get with. You fed our chicken to alligators. What the fuck is an African-American? We have to live out our curses that our southern ancestors gave us. Hamashiach, come save us. We trying to be on our best behavior. We the true people of the book because of your image you made us. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual blame that only scripture to hear. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual blame that only scripture to hear. Are you willing to give up your life like Christ versus the Philistines? Would you take the mark of the beast or place your head in the guillotine? Would you face the east every day and pray even for your enemies? Would you say amazing grace before you eat what's on your plate unto our Elohim? The meek shall inherit the earth. Those who are last are gonna be first. I'm speaking my blessings into existence, so if you hate me, it's gonna get worse. You and your family are gonna be cursed for plotting my downfall since my rebirth. So what it is worth, the truth really hurts. For my kingdom work, I will be immersed. 144 singing war chants. You try to avoid the noise, but you can't. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual blame that only scripture to hear. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual blame that only scripture to hear. I live in shalom, but don't come to my home with wicked intentions. Because I don't be on none of that bullshit. You get many metal fragments thrown into your backbones. We Negro onlys. We Negro onlys. True bloodline of shit. That mean we can't be phonies. Skin like burnt grass. Hair just like wool. We slaying each and every one of our opponents. Evil spirits must flee because y'all really don't want it. These are the last days. Recompense is coming. We Negro onlys. We Negro onlys. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual blame that only scripture to hear. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. Big country the Hebrew.
All right, Israel. All right. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. And again, I say Shabbat shalom. If you remember correctly, this time last week, we ended off with Genesis chapter 20, getting on one accord with all of Israel, book by book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, until we get all of this under one understanding. The entirety of the book that has been placed before us, our history, Zion, our history, Israel. All right, so we're going to dive right into it and pick up at chapter 21. Okay. And chapter 21, verse 1 reads as thus: And Yahuwah visited Sarah as he had said, and Yahuwah did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which Elohim had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac, or Yitzhak. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, Yahuwah hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. Verse 9, Israel. Verse 9. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous to Abraham's sight because of his son. And Elohim said unto Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. And all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs, and she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, Let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice and wept. And Elohim heard the voice of the lad. And an angel of Elohim called to Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for Elohim hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. And Elohim opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And Elohim was with the lad, and he grew, and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Mizraim. Verse 22. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, Elohim is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me hereby Elohim, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of the well of water which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who have done this thing. Neither didst thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me, that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they swear both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called thereon the name of Yahuwah, the everlasting Elohim. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days. Chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things, that Elohim did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thine only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for a burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which Elohim had told him. Then on the 3rd day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand, and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. And he said, behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to the place which Elohim had told him of, and Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Elohim called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here am I. And he said, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest Elohim, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. And Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place. Ooh, you gonna have to bear with me, Israel. Jehovah, I can't pronounce it, Israel. If you're reading along, by all means, put it in the comments section and let me know how that's pronounced. As it is said to this day, in the mount of the Elohim it shall be seen. Through all this, Israel, the faith that it took Abraham, all the while knowing what was asked of him to sacrifice his son. Although he was still willing to do it, he also had faith to know basically that Elohim wasn't going to sell him out like that. He wasn't going to cut him short like that. He knew that Elohim, he knew that Yahuwah was going to provide a way out of no way. And that's where we got to get back to, Israel. That's the only way that we're going to be able to get out of this land of our captivity. Verse 15. And the angel of Elohim called out unto Abraham out of heaven the second time and said, By myself have I sworn, saith Elohim, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the Shamayim, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. Notice what I just read and how that also ties in to what we read in earlier text, where he talks to Abraham and lets him know what's going to happen to his seed. The first prophecy about us going into bondage, into servitude, to a land our fathers knew not for 400 years. More and more. Although we know Abraham is the father of many nations, you could wheedle down through those many nations to land on one specific nation, the nation of Israel, the descendants of Yaakov, the descendants of Yitzhak, the descendants of Abraham, or Abraham. You can literally trace it through not only the books of this Bible, but also through the sands of time, history. Nothing has really changed. They didn't put a strong effort on changing history as much as they put a strong effort in making us forget our history. Verse 20. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor, whose his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Chest, and Hazel, and Pildash, and Jidlaph. If I'm destroying these names, Israel, by all means, again, hit that comment section and let me know how this is pronounced. And Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Reumah. She bare also Tebah and Gaham, or Gaham, and Thahash, and Makahah. Chapter 23. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Karatharbah, Again, Zion, hit that comment section. I know I'm destroying these names. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my Lord. Thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres, bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave and Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it me for a possession of a burying place amongst you. And Hephron dwelt among the children of Heth, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my Lord, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein I give it thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee. Bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead. 100 shekels of silver. Excuse me, Zion, I done jumped ahead of myself. And I will bury my dead there. Verse 14. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My Lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. Verse 17. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for possession in the presence of the children of Heth. Before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth. Chapter 24, Israel. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age. And Elohim had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by Elohim. I will make thee swear by Yahuwah thy Elohim, and the Elohim of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell, but thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. And the servant said unto him, peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? And Abraham said unto him, beware that thou bring not my son thither again. Yahuwah Elohim of the Shamayim, which took me from my father's house, and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this oath, this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. Verse 10. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed. For all the goods of his master were in his land. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia, unto the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even in the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Yahuwah Elohim of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand there by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink. And she shall say, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac. And thereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness upon my master. Verse 15. And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that behold, Ribkah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well, and filled her pitcher, and came up. And the servant ran to meet her, and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher. And she said, drink, my lord. And she hastened, and let down her pitcher upon her hand, and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also, until they have done drinking. And she hastened and emptied her pitcher in the trough, and ran again into the well to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace, to wit whether Elohim had made his journey prosperous or not. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel in weight, 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. She said moreover unto him, we have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. And the man bowed down his head and worshipped Elohim. And he said, Blessed be Elohim. And he said, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of my master Abraham, who hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I, being in the way, the Elohim led me to the house of my master's brethren, and the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Ribkah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man, unto the well. And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Ribkah his sister, saying, Thus spake the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. And he said, Come in, thou blessed of the Elohim, wherefore standest thou without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. Verse 32. And the camel came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the men's feet that were with him. And there was set meat before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have told mine errand. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and Elohim hath blessed my master greatly, and he is become great, and he hath given him flocks and herds, and silver and gold, and men servants and maid servants, and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master, when Sarah was old, and unto him hath he given all that he hath. And my master made me swear, saying, that thou shalt take a wife to my son of the daughters of the, thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my father's house and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And I said unto my master, Peradventure the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, Elohim, before whom I walk, will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way. And thou shalt take a wife for my son of my kindred, and of my father's house. Verse 41. Then shalt thou be clear from this my oath, when thou comest to my kindred, and if they give not thee one, thou shalt be clear from my oath. And I came this day unto the well, and said, O Yahuwah Elohim of my master Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water. And it shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink. And she say to me, Both, drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camels. Let the same be the woman whom the Elohim hath appointed out for my master's son. And before I had done speaking in thine heart, behold, Ribkah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder. And she went down unto the well and drew water. And I said unto her, let me drink, I pray thee. Verse 46. And she made haste and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her and said, whose daughter art thou? And she said, the daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him. And I put the earring upon her face, and the bracelets upon her hands. And I bowed down my head and worshipped the Elohim, and blessed Yahuwah Elohim of my master Abraham, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. And now, if ye will deal kindly with and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Verse 50. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing proceedeth from Elohim. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Ribkah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Elohim hath spoken. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Elohim, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Ribkah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. And they did eat and drink, and he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10. After that she shall go. And he said unto them, hinder me not, seeing the Elohim hath prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, we will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. And they called Ribkah and said unto her, wilt thou goest with this man? And she said, I will go. Verse 59. And they sent away Ribkah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Ribkah and said unto her, thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. Verse 61. And Ribkah arose, and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels, and followed the man. And the servant took Ribkah and went his way. And Isaac came from the way of the well. And again, Israel is a word I'm not going to be able to pronounce. Laharoi. For he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And Ribkah lifted up her eyes. And when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel, for she had said unto the servant, what man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant hath said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Ribkah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Chapter 25, Israel. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bare him Zimran, and Yokshan, and Midan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. And Yokshan begat Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Ashurim and Letsuim, Letshim. Yeah, woo. Forgive me, Israel. And Leumim. And the sons of Midian, Ephah and Epher, and Hanuk, and Abida, and Eldah. All these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived. And Abraham, 160 years. Then Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, which is before Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth. There was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. And it came to pass, after the death of Abraham, that Yahuwah blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well Laharoi. Verse 12. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebahoth, and Kedar, and Adbil, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa, Hadar, and Tamar, Yetor, Naphish, and Kedamah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their towns and by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest toward Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. Verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Ribkah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padoram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Elohim for his wife, because she was barren. And Elohim was entreated of him, and Ribkah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Even from the womb, these are two separate, different people, not just different nations, different people. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, comma, since I know you can't see the comma in my book that I'm reading. This is the KJV version, by the way. Red all over and hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison. But Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to death, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Now, Yisrael, I don't know if any of you have continued in-depth studies to this, but we will. We will eventually get there. Okay, because there's a lot more to that story than what was just told. You could definitely tell in that story it was a brief comb-over experience. So as we get into the book of Yasher and the book of Jubilees, it's going to go in further in depth with that right there, which is really going to enlighten a lot of things. All right, Yisrael, final chapter, chapter 26, final chapter for the day. And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And Yahuwah appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt or Mizraim. Dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, She is my sister. For he feared to say, She is my wife, lest he, the men of the place should kill me for Ribkah, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Ribkah his wife. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, behold, of a surety she is thy wife. And how sayest thou, she is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, because I said, lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, what is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lined with thy wife, and thou shouldest brought thou guiltiness upon us. Ooh. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, he that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold, and Yahuwah blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. Verse 14. For he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. Verse 17. And Isaac departed thence and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham. And he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley and found there a well of spring water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they digged another well and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, for now Yahuwah hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba. And Yahuwah appeared unto him the same night, and said, I am Elohim of Abraham thy father. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar, there, and called upon the name of Yahuwah, and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants digged a well. Verse 26. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar and Hazuath, one of his friends, and Phicol, the chief captain of his army. And Isaac said unto them, wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? And they said, we saw certainly that Yahuwah was with thee. And we said, let there be now an oath betwixt us, even betwixt us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee, that thou do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now the blessed of Yahuwah. And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. And they rose up betimes in morning, and sware one to another, and Isaac sent them away. And they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, we have found water. And he called it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Again, remember Israel, those two wives, Hittites. Go and do your homework and search out who the Hittites were, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Ribekah. Isaac and Ribekah did not like the fact that Esau wifed these two Hittites. And with that, Yisrael, I will say Toda Rabbah to the Most High Yahuwah. I thank him for allowing us to see another day. I say Shabbat Shalom. I will say Baraku Yahuwah Hamaverak Lo Alam Ba'id Asher Natan Lanu Pathak Ha Makuth Shemayim Be Mashiach. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, forever and ever, for giving us the doorway to the kingdom of heaven and Messiah. I love you, Israel. Y'all stay strong. Y'all stay kingdom focused. I love y'all.
Big country that we praise the most. We heroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual brain that only scripture to heal. We negroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual brain that only scripture to heal.
If you're a Negro, that means that you're a Hebrew. The chosen seed of Israel, that means no equal to you. But if you're a Hamite, peekaboo, we see you. You sold us to our oppressors on a one-way ticket to Egypt. Them heathens shipped my people away on government-funded slave ships. The evil that we had to endure. Talk back to my say you get with. You fed our children to alligators.
Motherfuckers are African American.
We have to live out our curses that our stubborn ancestors gave us. Hamashiach, come save us. We trying to be on our best behavior. We the true people of the book because of your image you made us.
We negroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual brain that only scripture to heal. We negroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual brain that only scripture to heal.
Are you willing to give up your life like Christ versus the Philistines? Would you take the mark of the beast or place your head in the guillotine? Would you face the east every day and pray even for your enemies? Would you say amazing grace before you eat what's on your plate unto our Elohim? The meek shall inherit the earth. Those who are last are gonna be first. I'm speaking my blessings into existence, so if you hate me, it's gonna get worse. You and your family are gonna be cursed for plotting my downfall since my rebirth. So what it is worth, the truth really hurts. For my kingdom work, I will be immersed. 144 singing war chants. You try to avoid the noise, but you can't.
We negroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual brain that only scripture to heal. We negroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual brain that only scripture to heal.
I live in Shalom, but don't come to my home with wicked intentions. Because I don't be on none of that bullshit. You get many metaphors fragments thrown into your backbones. We Negro onlys. We Negro onlys. True bloodline of shit. That there mean we can't be phonies. Skin like burnt grass. Hair just like wool. We slaying each and every one of our opponents. Evil spirits must flee because y'all really don't want it. These are the last days. Recompense is coming. We Negro onlys. We Negro onlys.
We Negroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. We some hardcore spiritual brain that quoted scripture to hear. We Negroes only. The blood is shed. Cause you and I, and we in him. He's the root of the tree. I'm just a limb. Big country to heal.
Liar.